93, 93, 93. Do what thou will should be the whole of the law. You already know what the fuck it is. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to find some background music here. Salute to you, Cali. Much love and much respect to you. You already know. What's up, Keenan? What's up, Wide World? And salute to you, Mary. Hold on. Got all type of stuff going on. Uh-oh. Got some ASMR in the background. Alright, let me get to the music here. Alright. As y'all see, this wasn't planned, otherwise I would have had all this already ready. I'm just inclined to speak madness. Okay, here we go. Okay. Alright. Let's see if we can play this. And then we'll get started. Alright. Hold on. Anyway, I don't want to start it off. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully everybody's good. Nope. It's not the type of time we on right now. Hopefully you are improving yourself. Hopefully you are getting better as the world evolves. That's really the only thing that matters. Because the world is becoming more advanced. Hopefully you are becoming more advanced. I need to go in this folder. I'm looking like, where's all the damn music at all? It's right here. Alright. Okay. So I'm not gonna say love, peace, happiness, all that madness. No, we're gonna talk real madness. That's why I call this the untitled thoughts of mad poet. I can't even think of a goddamn title. I'm like, I don't even care to think about a damn title. At this point. Alright. There we go. Let's slow it down. Alright. So, let's get straight to it. You already know we're about to inhale the essence of the ganja leaf. I just did my fucking 12 hours. Again, y'all only see me after I work at this point, right? I don't get to be fully energized when y'all see me. I don't get to be fully energized. I gotta do 12 fucking hours just to show up. Imagine that. But if I don't do it right now, I'm not like doing this shit. And I know this is necessary. For 93, nobody else may not give a single fuck about this. But 93 does, so I'm gonna show the fuck up. By any means, right? Y'all should know that by any means. By any means. And that's why I'm still here after so long. Well, I'm technically an original YouTuber, right? I'm an original YouTuber. I was doing it before people even knew what to do. So that's why I give y'all my perspective. Somebody who has been doing this since they've been a teenager, and they're still doing it to this day. And just because of that, I've been able to share things with you just can't get from other people. They ain't been down long enough. They just really started to understand what this shit is really about. Versus catching on, when you were a little younger. But age is not the concern here. You're here now, so I actually bought me a glass bong. Cause y'all remember before I was using a little plastic one. But I'm like, let me change the material, let me get an official bong. So we're gonna be using the bong here. Yeah, let's get straight to it all. What am I thinking? Alright, hold on. Let me wipe off this eyewear. So let's get straight in the spirit. This is what we're here for, right? We're not here to hear about my goddamn problems. We here to hear what needs to be said. Alright? Who gives a fuck about my 12 hours? It's not why we're here, alright? It's not why we're here. I'm just showing you that I can still show up after a full day. That's really what this is about. While most people going home, clocking out, trying to get some rest, trying to get into some bullshit. Y'all see, I just stay on the bullshit. I never left the bullshit to the point where I became mad. I would be considered mad. So you can say it's a typical person. I would be considered mad. A mad poet. Why does the dark side drive people mad? What is that all about? There we go. Much better, yeah? Alright. So, let's get it. I'm actually going to use a lighter today. I have to re-up on my matches. This goddamn job be taking up too much of my goddamn time. Alright. Let me drink some water. About a whole fucking water for this. Alkaline water. right? Lemonade not from concentrate. Okay? We got some fucking alcohol. Alright? And I'm gonna actually light an incense. Why not? The reason why I say I'm mad to a lot of people because they simply wouldn't do this shit. That's what I mean by mad. Mad as in crazy as in I wouldn't do it. And which is why I'm here. You're gonna always find me doing things that most people just simply don't want to do. Right? But then I have to show you the results of why you probably should intake or partake in the festivities. Right? Because you can say, even though I'm mad, I can pretend to be sane. Imagine that. Imagine being mad, but you can pretend to be sane. Versus it being the other way around. People who are perfectly sane but try to act other than. So, let me explain that. I'm going to turn this down a bit. Has anyone been feeling intense Kundalini energy rising from within? But I'm talking extremely intense. Yeah, I would definitely say so. Because I haven't slept in days. I've only been sleeping like 30 minutes and right back at it. Sleep has not been something I have been partaking in lately. So when you talk about intense energy, it's like, yeah, I don't even feel the need to sleep. I literally have been up days. I'm not sleeping. And I just did a fucking 12-hour shift. No sleep. Then did one before that. No sleep. And here I am right now. We're probably going to be here for hours. No sleep. It's a lot of fucking energy, right? And then, like, I don't have a desk job. I'm on my feet the whole time. Moving around. Lifting shit. Doing technomatic activities and shit. So, yeah, not eating much, yeah. Y'all see, I got a bunch of liquid. I just showed y'all 3 different liquids. There's no food around. There's literally no food around. So, yeah. Yeah. It's just about that time, right? It's just about that fucking time. Right? That's all it is. It's just about that time, and those who are already in tune are already putting in the work. You're like, oh, it's about that time. Because we are approaching the winter solstice, as we know, the darkest part of the year. So that I'm like, oh, it's fitting to make a video about madness as we approach the shadow of the year. We are going into the year's shadow. And what I mean by the year's shadow is in the springtime, you know, you could say it's in the ego. People tend to be a lot more egotistical. The sun is out, it's warm outside, they're comfortable. When people get comfortable, they tend to, show out a little bit more than Soon as you step out, it's cold as fuck. You trying to get the point A to point B instantaneously. You ain't really trying to stick around. You ain't really trying to hang around like that. And I would say that's really the main difference between the mentalities of the East Coast and the West Coast. Just to put it in simple terms. Because I didn't spend enough time in both places. I'm like, okay, it's, one is hot, one is cold, and it comes with certain activities. So when you think about a place like New York and why those people tend to be serious, well, these people is dealing with snow right now. Like I'm dealing with coldness. It's cold outside, but there's no snow. New York, East Coast, they're dealing with coldness and snow. And some places is dealing with coldness, snow, and ice. There's some places that's going through some real harsh environmental forces. And this is just what happens every goddamn year. Right? It's nothing new to anybody. Unless you just get into this bitch. Like you just alive. Like children, kids, they can go and play in the snow and they don't care about the temperature. They going in. Because it's all new to them. It's brand new to them. So because they're in a different type of mentality, it just doesn't register that. They're not thinking about what we like. When you become grown, you now you're thinking logically. Like, okay, like why would I ever just throw myself into the snow? Now I'm all wet. Now I may come down with a cold. When you this chair is just slippery. Like my arm just keeps slipping. I gotta like keep a position. All right. The atmospheric difference influences the mentality. As we know, your thoughts are different when you're freezing cold versus when you're comfortable laying on the beach. Two completely different energies. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. They both have their pros and cons. But this is what we begin to learn about locations. Alright, they're not just how people describe places based on their experience. They don't know that it's forces in play that causes these places to be the way they are. The energy that they generate. Depending where you are on the earth, a certain type of energy is being generated at all times. And it has variations depending on your location. The thing is, it's very slight, so the average person wouldn't really catch it. Meaning, the only difference may be the house that is in versus the actual degree or zodiac. For example, if you're just looking at the moon in Libra as an example, if you adjust it a couple degrees, you could possibly change the house. It could be in the fourth house, but if you change the house about 5 degrees, that could put it in the fifth house, which would then change its manifestation. That's what we deal with earth-wise. We deal with very slight changes. Meaning the change may be less than a degree. But what changes is the actual seconds. Because you have the minutes, you have the hour, and then you have the seconds. Most people don't pay attention to the seconds because it's not necessary to pay attention to the seconds. It's not necessary to get that macro with your vision. I'm saying these things to say that I only know these things because I actually witnessed these things with my own eyes. Like I had to go to these places and witness, observe, and absorb so that if I ever needed to tap into the currency again, I would have some type of remembrance of the feel. And because I have remembrance of the feel, I can lock it within the subconscious. And because I can lock it within the subconscious, I'm able to travel not just physically now, because I've been traveling physically, right? Or you can say we all travel physically to get to point A to point B, right? Sometimes it's a short distance, sometimes it's a great distance. See, what we see is like there's certain things that you're gonna miss when it's third person, meaning when somebody else is trying to explain. Like for example, if you ask somebody, let's just say who's from a certain city, I'm from Las Vegas, for example, or I'm from Los Angeles, for example, wherever they may be from. We all know everyone has their own perspective or original perspective, based on their particular lifestyle and what they engage in, right? Hold on. I just want to make sure I mute these notifications as we see. So I'll be having all types of apps open. So yeah, let me go ahead and let me silence the notifications so we don't be hearing these things continuously. Here we go. All right. Again, as you see, this was not planned. Otherwise, I would have had all this already done. However, we're going to figure it out. The chaos, right? Because I see someone was talking about the chaos. When you can't handle the chaos, you go mad, or maybe being mad is a normal state with nothing. When nothing has no meaning anymore, maybe it never did. Well, that's essentially what the occult is. It's to give things meaning, yeah, because it has no meaning. Essentially, you can say life has no meaning. Which, yeah, like you say, nothing has a meaning. If you're just looking at something, you're not really going to see the meaning of why it exists. Meaning, you can't just look at a person like, okay, I know why you exist in this world at this moment, and I see the purpose you serve. You're not going to see all that just by observing somebody, right? That ain't even something that you're probably even looking for. So when we say handling the chaos, it's not even effective handling it because it's ever present. Meaning, even people who have no conscious focus or thoughts of what they're doing, meaning a person may not be doing any type of shadow work, any type of cultism, any type of, things that require you to go outside of the box. They may stay very well within the box, within the parameters of things and go about their way that way, which you can say it's Saturn, right? As we understand, each of the planets have a unique way to approach situations. So the more we put ourselves in situations and understand what energies are activated in what situations because we know ourselves. This is the whole point of knowledge of self. It's not just knowing who you are just for the fact of knowing it. As if that's fucking important. For whatever reason, people feel like just, I need to know myself. As if that's what the ancestors was really trying to tell you. Know thyself means I need to figure out who I am. That's not what that means at all. That's just what people think it means because they're just looking at the surface of things. But we know the ancestors were not surface level people whatsoever. So even if we try to translate a fucking phrase to know thyself, that's just what the translation is. We know there's so much lost in the trend. Before you even get to that, you have to what we call as dumb down, right? You have to dumb it down to a way where you can perceive not even what it means, but what it is. Because you may know what something is, but again, not know what it means. You may know, okay, a person is a person, but you may not know, okay, what purpose do they serve? And how would you even go about finding out? Are you going around asking people what purpose do they serve? Probably not. It doesn't really seem necessary to do that. The chaos also is not what we think it is. See, all these things, that's why they call it, I'm not going to say they, because now I'm taking it outside of us. This is what our ancestors did purposely to let us know we have to add layers now because the layers have been stripped away. Once we make it to the English language, once we're using numbers and we don't understand the meaning of numbers. See, we use numbers, but we don't understand the meaning of numbers. We use letters, but we don't understand the meaning of letters. That's why we begin to open up Pandora's box when we begin to give these things meaning. So whether one becomes the sun or one becomes knowledge, whichever direction you go in, or both or neither, the whole purpose of doing these things is to assign meaning to things that seem as if they are meaningless. So because we think numbers are meaningless, they just are used to identify coordinates of a thing, the dimensions of a thing. But the numbers is also telling a story, but we already know that because we assign meaning to the numbers. But you see, that's not a mainstream thing to do, even though a lot of people may be spiritual. That doesn't really mean that you really committed anything to memory. See the difference? Meaning, if you the only thing you have committed to memory is just the things you know about yourself, because that's all you're concerned about is yourself, because it's know thyself. So okay, I need to find out about me. If that's well, of course, that's because now I'm just thinking in multiple layers here, because there's many ways to approach it. It's the technique is what matters. The swordsmanship or the penmanship or womanship. I don't want to make it a masculine thing. It just represents masculine energy, however, which is which has nothing to do with gender. Because we know masculine energy is within many things. All things. Everything has a positive and negative charge. So everything that's alive has a masculine charge in some form or way. Saturn teaches us separation. How do you separate the magnetism from the electricity? Because a lot of times things are already together. Atoms are they already got their own thing going on. Protons, neutrons, electrons, right? Positive charge, negative charge, neutral charge. They already have, that's already pre configured. Like there's a certain form of code. As we know, everything is coded, which again takes us to technology. Because technology represents the code or the language of what we call the matrix. It's only called a matrix because if we think about the idea of what a matrix represents, which is just a womb, which is a sphere, not a circle, but a sphere, which makes it three-dimensional. And because it's three-dimensional, now you have went from 2D to 3D, which is what's necessary on the path of the occult, meaning you must illuminate it from within yourself. You must bring the 2D to the 3D. But is that really obvious? No. That's why a lot of people are all over the place just studying everything, absorbing knowledge. When they should be more, and not that they should, as if I know the best, but consider if they were focused on writing their own script, scribing, meaning you get to know yourself by exercising your abilities. It has nothing to do with research and you knowing some type of secret information. It's about being able to connect things that usually are not connectable, which is essentially the whole purpose of numerology, astrology, tarot, is forming connections. This all is interconnected, which we know it is. It's all interconnected. It's all Kabbalistic. You use these tools to then unlock the Kabbalah, which then makes you Kabbalistic in your way of life. It's not just your way of thinking, your way of being, your way of feeling. It makes you Kabbalistic because you have the entirety, the whole. You didn't just focus on one. You understood that all this is, I need to be able to combine all of this to make sense, real shit. That's essentially what the occult is just you understanding there's certain things that need to be known beyond you. Meaning, imagine if I just focus on Scorpio because I'm a Scorpio, but I never explored the other 11 dimensions as if they didn't matter. Or I'm only concerned with the zodiac signs that I'm supposed to get along with, and then there's ones that I don't get along with, and because I don't get along with them, then we see a lot of people utilize this occult for the wrong reasons. And the results are there. I mean, the people who utilize this for the wrong reasons, you can tell because they're not able to provide depth to you. Not depth, Death, depth, Depth. They're not able to reveal the reality to you that you didn't know existed. Because that would be some real shit, now wouldn't it? Damn, I didn't even know this existed. Now I do. What's next? This is why these things have to be earned, meaning, like, I guess some people may say they're tested, whether they say God is testing them or they're tested, whatever the case may be. In Star Wars, the dark side, the Sith call it the kickback, the bounce back. Meaning, when you are engaging in certain deeds, you're gonna have a bounce back from the force itself. It's not even from a particular person who just don't like what you're doing. It's from the force itself. The force is like, okay, when you want to engage in this, that, and this, I got something for your ass. It ain't even what you doing is right or wrong or it's trying to stop you. It's just it got something for you. Keep doing what you're doing, but they got something for you. So that's why you go through initiation. Well, we understand during these times that's no longer a thing, right? Most people are not initiated. We know that to be a fact. It's not the majority whatsoever. And this is what I'm getting at. We see that this takes you through a journey, right? You can't fake this. You can't pretend to know how to work the magic of the occult and then not demonstrate your mastery in whichever fields that you have mastery of. Because we know it's all about demonstration, right? Can you demonstrate in front of us that you are that which you say you are? You may think that to you, but can you show us? Which, then puts you on the spot. It ain't just show me, show us. Matter of fact, we all want to see. Matter of fact, everybody wants to. It just, the energy just keeps getting more supreme. That kickback or that bounce back is when you are misusing or abusing your powers, you can say. You can misuse and abuse your powers, but it comes at a cost. That's all it is. It's not that you can or can't do it, it just comes at a cost. So that's why it's not about black magic or white magic, good magic, angels or demons. What you actually do is completely personalized to you. That's not even really relevant to anyone but you, how you connect to the force. What matters is the results. What results have you arrived at, or what conclusions have you arrived at when you have had this inside of yourself, right? When you are now what you speak, because you have made it a part of you, meaning this runs in your veins. This is a part of you. So when it becomes a part of you, now it's living because you are living. Now you make the dead alive, which we call the ancestors. Now they can speak through their language. Maybe not our language, their language. Because they laid this shit down. Right now they can speak to you in their language. And then you can begin to receive what they're suggesting. Suggesting, because it's always layered. It's always layered. That's just the nature of the beast. That's why this world is so surface. This world is trying to put everything in your face, keep everything shallow, keep everything surface, as we call mainstream, as we call status quo. Because if they don't uphold that power, then we know what people do when they're bored. They entertain themselves with all types of deviltry, right? All type of wickedness. I just find it very interesting. Because today is the 16th day, right? Let me give you some context. Cause yeah, it's like I'm at the end of the day. Like I'm trying to explain where I'm at now. Let me back up and take you through how I arrived at where I am now. So then we can put these things together, right? The 16th day. What's the 16th degree? Hence, what's the 16th card in the major arcana? The 16th card in the major arcana. Because that would then give me some insight. Oh, that's the Tower card. The Tower card connects us to Mars. It also connects us to Pe, the Hebrew letter Pe, which is the mouth. Which is why on the card you see a mouth spitting flames. So when you reflect on your day, Mars represents your will. So when we think about the day, was this a day where you had to exercise will? Well, if I looked at what happened to me today, I'm like, that's exactly what happened. I had to work extra hard today because a lot of people just left early. They're like, yo, they let anybody go home. Like anybody want to go home can go home. Let anybody go home. So I end up having to play 2, 3 positions. So I'm like, today was very Mars like. I'm like, yeah, I was breaking the sweat. I'm like, yeah, running back and forth. I'm like, yeah, today was. I'm like, yeah, that was that. I'm like, it fits. So me reflecting on my day, I'm like, okay, yeah, my day was that way. We take it a step further because where is peh found on the Kabbalah? Peh is found between Nizak and Hud. Hud, spellcraft. Nizak, pleasure. Leisure, you can say. Leisure, spellcraft. Or wordsmith, right? Because we're manipulating words. The ability to manipulate words. The ability to do so creatively manipulating words. Creatively just means you can say now it rhymes. You know how to rhyme. As an example. So when you're like, oh well, rhyme. Well, what's the secret factor? You need to have the rhyme, or you need to have that what? That fire. He's spitting flames. She's spitting flames. We even use that terminology now, don't we? Why? Well, now we know. It's because fucking pay is right there. You see how knowing that I'm able to arrive at that conclusion, there is no other way to arrive at that conclusion if it ain't. And you're like, oh, that is that. It comes from within, right? It walks with you, it talks with you. It's now living, it's now spirit, right? I recently heard a notable numerology expert claim the number 4 born years are going to have a challenging year. Okay. Is it something okay. Oh, is that right? Number 4 is going to be challenging, huh? Is that something I should pay attention to? Okay. It's like no, I'm just laughing like that because 2024 is 2024 itself is an 8 year, right? So we're already gonna be in the 8 year, which we know is Saturn, which we know is Malefic. So fuck, I don't know. I'm excited. Apparently, I'm excited. Apparently, I'm excited about. I'm like, yo, we about to go with the Saturn. Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. When was Saturn? Oh, the last time we was in a Saturn year was 2015. Like when I think about the videos I was making in 2015, cause I can actually go back that long. That's crazy, right? I'm trying to think what was the notable video I made in 2015. I think was what is it, the hip hop alchemy, when I made that little mini documentary. You know, where you see me walking around the desert. You know, It's going from here to here to here. Yeah. Meaning you see me in the streets. Essentially, that's what I'm. You see me in the streets. Got the camera walking around, walking in the middle of the street. Like when I look back, when I reflect, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, yep, yep. I'm like, yeah, yep. But when I think back at it, I'm like, what? Like, why was I even doing that? I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to walk out in the middle of the street, just talking my shit. I didn't need to do that. But for whatever reason, that's just how I was feeling. I'm like, all right. I'm like, yep, that eight was all in me. And I'm sure when you reflect to 2015, you're like, yeah, it's a very cardinal energy. But I laughed at the four because I'm like, yeah, that's I mean, we know, like, we can take it further than that. And what I mean by that is, like, if I'm just looking at that on the surface, I wouldn't be able to tell you nothing if I'm just looking at that on the surface. Ford is a challenging, not just a vibration period. It's for a challenging vibration. Yes, four is a challenging vibration. But why is four a challenging vibration? What makes four challenging? See, these are the questions that need to be answered versus, is this going to be a good year or a bad year? Because it's a four, and four is supposed to be a challenging number. But what makes four the challenging number? Why does four has this challenging reputation? Well, I would say look into a four. What was a 4 year? 2020. You see, oh shit. So the last 4 year was 2020, and we all know what the fuck happened in 2020. There's your answer. There's your answer, right? So now we don't just have to look at the four, just observe the events of that year, 2020. We know what events transpired. We don't even have to speak about what transpired, but we know what transpired. And that should give you some type of insight as to what the four represents and the energy it holds. So you see, that's more recent history. That's in more. So we all that should still. I'm not saying it should be fresh in your mind, but we all like, yeah, I was there and I know exactly what happened. Yeah, you do. But as you see, that doesn't really satisfy why four is why four has the nature it has. Because then we have to look at the mythology connected to the four, which we know to be Rahu. The mythology of Rahu, the demon who strived to become immortal, something that had never been done before. And he almost did it, but he was discovered at the last minute and his head got cut off, but he had just took a sip of the holy nectar, so his head became immortal. So essentially, he accomplished his task, but at a cost. He became immortal, but at a cost. He had did something that had never been done before, but at a cost. And it's essentially up to you to determine if you're willing to deal with the cost. That's why people consider 4 challenging, because you have to consider the cost. And that's why they say financially, oh, is it going to be costly? Is 4 going to make me consider the cost? Yeah, 4 will make you consider the cost. For sure. Because 4 is a earth energy. Energy is earthy. Or you can call it windy if we take it to Uranus. So understanding the mythology of Rahu, who accomplished what had not been accomplished before. So you can't say he failed. So even though it was at a cost, you can't say he failed. You can't say, no, he's not immortal. He just doesn't have a body. He's mortal. So that's what I mean. The 4 makes you consider, damn, I did it. But it was at a cost. I did it though. So you see how I was able to explain to you why 4 would be challenging instead of just saying, well, 4 is going to be challenging. Why? Because we need that, right? Excuse me. So you see, as we then open the layers of it, oh, now we see why people have came to that conclusion, what may have led to that. There you go. Right? It's all about the technique. And I'm only able to do it because I put it in the memory banks. And then the bank multiply like a real bank. We look at these outer banks and think, damn, I need to get a lot of money. We don't consider, damn, I need to expand my memory. If I want money, it's going to start with memory. My memory banks. Why don't I try multiplying my memory banks? Is that something that people consider? Absolutely not. But it's there for you to consider if you so choose. So Sam needs things to say. We have to add layers to what appears to be simple, as if it's meaningless. It seems meaningless. Oh, I'm about to go to this address 255. That identifies the coordinates. Now I know where to go. And for most people, it stops there. 225, 4, 5, 5 plus 4, 9, Mars. This energy may be very Mars-like because that's what the number breaks down to. So I may expect, or I should consider it expecting such events to occur. Gary Hayden, yeah, I have no idea, who y'all are referring to, but you know, feel free, you know. Like if you were to look at my YouTube, because YouTube recommends you videos based on what you watch, or more so my subscriptions. Yeah, what like the people I'm subscribed to. It's like mostly ASMR. I don't think I have like any subscriptions like for knowledge. I subscribe to nothing. But I'm subscribed to some bullshit though. I'm subscribed to uh, what we call street shit. I'm always aware of activities. You know, street activities all the way to what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in Ukraine. I'm looking at all this stuff, right? So I don't say that just because I'm looking for anything. I just understand like, oh, I gotta manifest this from within. Nobody can give me the answers. I gotta go find the answers. I gotta decode what people refuse to decode. I need to do what people refuse to do if I'm trying to come to ultimate conclusions and recognize these patterns that seem to evade everybody else. I have to become it. I can't study it. I have to become it. And that's essentially the part that people will never get to. Right? They never get, oh, I have to become this. The purpose of me studying this is to become this. I'm supposed to go well beyond the knowledge. The knowledge is just number one. You're supposed to go all the way to the nine. So you can add the zero to the one. Then the zero takes you to the zero first, which is the fool, which is the madman. Right? So when I say I'm the mad poet, like that's Uranian influence. Uranian influence is, very it's very fixated on details, but details that most people, would not really care about. For example, like if somebody was explaining the human brain, what everything is and the function it serves, most people would just fall asleep. There's not too many people that would just be optimistic about learning that, and it's not really like, okay, well, okay, I know what this is. Well, what purpose does it serve? Like knowledge in and of itself, you're like, okay, well, I know this. What purpose do it serve? Do I recommend meditations for the winter solstice of winter in general? Yeah, good question. Good question. See, I can't just give you a pre-written answer like already knew. No, I don't already know. I'm thinking about it now. What would be a good meditation for the winter solstice? Well, Capricorn is the energy of the mathematician. That's why we're talking about numbers. So I would say make your meditation a fixation of numbers. Just make numbers more important or add depth to numbers, essentially. Add detail, design numbers in a way that make them tell you very interesting stories. As we see, the occult allows us to tell some very interesting stories and arrive at very interesting conclusions. Haven't been meditating like that as a new mom. Got to get back in it. Yeah, because it's you can say you're more in the Uranian energy. High sprung and what people would consider chaos. Even on Uranus just has its ways. Uranus just has its ways. So what you're asking about is more Neptunian, which is the meditation. That's more Neptunian. So it's taking a journey from Uranus to Neptune. So essentially, what's the path to take the journey between Uranus and Neptune? What path? Well, if Uranus was the fool, and well, it's not what if, but if Uranus is the fool, the hangman is Neptune. What is the difference between a hangman and the fool? Because they both appear to be foolish to the average people. Let's just have that understood. The fool and the hangman to normal people appear to be very foolish. What the fuck are they doing? What is this mad man or this mad woman doing? Why is this person just giving their whole life to God? Giving their whole life to whatever what deity that they choose to serve. They willing to do any and everything. Change their whole life. Have a complete baptism. Because Neptune is the waters. So essentially Neptune has that power to cause a baptism in people's life. Which is a extreme change. So essentially just trying to get to the waters of Neptune. Going through the baptism. So, saying that to say, we see that both of these characters appear to be crazy to the normal person, to the average person. So we see what makes them the same, but what makes them different. Because you have to have the occultic eye to then, see the difference, right? We can go this deep because I'm like, okay. Because see, when I'm thinking about it, I have a clear vision of both cards. I have everything already committed to memory, so I'm just looking at it. I'm doing the same thing the financial advisors do. I'm going into the memory banks, looking at it. Okay, see what the prospects are. Give you some insights. Give you some foresights. Give you some predictions. I'm doing the same thing that financial advisors do. Just the same stuff. I'm just doing it with the occult, right? We can open it up, look at it, see what makes sense, see what we can add to it. Add the layers we can connect to it, so on and so forth. Okay, we get the picture. Next case, next project. Right? Same shit. Right? The thing is, the reward for doing this is internal, right? You can say nobody's going to necessarily reward you for being an occultist. Like, you don't get an award for being an occultist. You may not get acknowledged for doing that. Because that's not the point. Because it's about what you live every day. Like, are you really living this out every day? Because I know I'm using spells every goddamn day. There's not a day that goes by that some type of chant, some type of mantra, some type of energy, some type of vortex, and I'm generating that I know it's not going to exist unless I generate it. Right? I have to create the force field. If I want a good day, I have to create the atmosphere that's going to allow that to exist. I'm not just going to expect it to happen because that's just what I feel I deserve. Fuck what I deserve. What am I going to generate based off of my energy, based off of my currency? And based off of my generations will determine The vibes of my day is going to be based off of my energy that I'm projecting, not energy that somebody else is projecting. Whether somebody has an attitude, whether somebody is kind, whether somebody is nice. Because you see, little things like that be pissing people off. Somebody else may be having a bad day, not you having a bad day. Energy transference. This is what happens all the time, energy transference. And that's what makes the collective unconscious. People are just, they all really do be feeling the same or similar emotions because they are all a collective. They have all transferred their energy to a large web, the dark web. We think the dark web is some internet shit. That's a part of it. The real dark web is those connections that are intangible, that we call quantum entanglement. Quantum meaning you ain't seeing this shit is entangled, you don't even know it's entangled. You didn't even know. It's not obvious. It was layered, it was heavily cryptic, coded. It was cryptic and coded, only you understood it. Somebody else try to figure out what's going on, and they're not gonna get it. That's why a lot of magicians have a magical language in which only they understand. They don't even jot down their notes for somebody else to come up and read and understand what the fuck they got going on. They got that shit fully cryptic. Don't nobody know what the fuck this is. Put that shit down. It's too cryptic. It is it that pressure, that the pressure of Saturn way like, oh fuck. It's like you pick up a phone and you don't know the password to it. Hey damn man, it's 6 numbers too. You look at a password, damn man, it's 6 numbers. What's the odds of you guessing that right password? Having that right combination? You put that goddamn phone down. Like, you know what? I'm not gonna attempt it. That pressure begins to weigh like, oh fuck. That's a hard ass mathematical problem. So the focus of meditation should be on mathematics. We already know mathematics is the language of the universe. So why would we not be more acquainted with the universe? If we want to be more acquainted with the universe, it's going to have to come through mathematics, of course. We add in layers and depth into these mathematical elements, ideas, and components. You see, they're just so universal, we take it for granted. We don't realize, like, damn, this whole shit makes this whole reality possible. It makes us fly and swaggy and surfy and all type of, like, damn, this math is, we can use this technology and do all type of fly shit, create all type of, like, it got us out here fly as fuck. Math. Not the stuff that they taught us in school, like, okay, you just learn it because you need to know it. It's not being applied. I'm talking about the math that's being applied. Which is essentially what content creation is mathematics being applied. Because you're learning engineering, you're learning, sound, video. You're learning all of these dimensions. It's not just one thing, right? It's not just one thing. It's a bunch of shit. The same thing we be talking about at 93. It's a bunch. It's like, it's a whole bunch of elements. I need to understand each individual component to see what works together. I'm going to test this, till I figure out a combination that makes sense. And I'm going to go with that. And you're doing all this mentally. Without a dictionary, without somebody else's opinion. So acquaint yourself more with the language of the universe if you consider yourself universal. If you have a desire to know it all, if you just want to know about yourself, go right ahead. But if your desire is to know it all, which is the last element of the major arcana, the world card, the universe card, I have a desire to know it all. I need the full fucking picture, which we already have downloaded in the brain. The brain has the whole star system already mapped out. It's already in there. We have enough brain capacity to store the whole fucking universe in the memory banks. So when they ask how the fuck did the ancestors know all this stuff we had to discover later on, hundreds of years later, thousands of the years later, how the fuck was they doing this shit? That was way too long ago for them to know this shit exists. Because maybe they didn't just stumble upon it. Maybe it was inherited through the language, mathematics. Because that has been the same. At least since we've been using the Arabic numerals. So as far as we know, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We were taught to start with the 1, but the tarot taught us to start at the 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on and so forth. Why did the tarot consider that to be important? The 0 is the most supreme because it contains it all. These other numbers are components of the all, but the all itself is the 0, which is the 360 degrees. So while a lot of people are caught up with their own 30 degrees, there's 330 degrees left. And the wholeness of it. And each degree you should be able to put some type of understanding to. Because again, numbers. You understand how numbers work and you know how to add depth and layers to those numbers to arrive at unique conclusions that otherwise couldn't have been arrived at had you not committed it to the memory banks. Committed to the memory banks and your memory multiplies. It gives you something back. What is it giving you back? You study you because you are performing the alchemy on yourself. You are the main character of your movie, right? So while most people are already trying to be a hero, most people are already trying to be the main character. Alright? I don't want to run into that now, do they? You see that green Syrian hair? The color of Sirius. Looks like a madman. Why does that green convey that point better than any other color? and a little touch of green in the tie. Just a little touch. Just to show you got style. I mean, to give you a little touch. So that's just the type of time we got to be on. And I showed Joker because Joker was revolutionary. Joker didn't just become another villain that got hunted down by Batman. They transformed the whole city of Gotham. They're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That changed the whole dynamics of the city. Because now people either fear or love Batman. Now people either fear, I'm not going to say they love, but maybe Harley Quinn loves the devil. Not the devil, the Joker. Maybe it is the devil, huh? That's what people would classify it as, huh? That would be the devil card. Of course, when you think about the Joker, yeah, that would probably be the devil card, right? Which most people would consider evil. It's something to be avoided. You probably don't want to even tap into that part of yourself, even though that part of yourself exists, right? We all have a shadow that look a little something like this, a little crazy that you probably are uncomfortable looking at. Basically, it's like me. My shadow probably got tattoos on their face. You know, something I'm like, okay, that's a little bit that's like I say like I'm committed to 93. I'm all about that life. Well, if my shadow is like, okay, I'm about a different type of life, and I put plastered that shit on me. I'm really about that shit to the point that I'm like, okay, well, my little dedication don't really mean so much then. Like, unless you like, I'm like, oh, you just stayed invisible. I'm like, well, yeah, that's more Plutonian, right? But maybe that's just Scorpio, like, right? I'm like, I'd rather be invisible. I don't want to be identified. Oh, that's the person because of this or that. I mean, I'm unidentifiable. No identity, right? To the point where I had to learn about the whole underground society, the whole underworld, just to stay afloat. Because for a long time I didn't have an ID, so I had to learn things like cryptocurrency and how to move without having to flash an ID. While most people just flash, 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 flash. So they don't have to consider these things at all. Things that I had to consider, they don't have to consider flash, 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 no problem. Then that just allowed me to, I'm like, oh, I had to advance my mathematics. I'm like, oh, cryptocurrency ain't like dollar bills, one, two, three, four, five, six. Like, no, you gotta have some mathematical proficiency to really know what you're doing here. You have to speak the language of the universe. You have to speak what is called mathematics. Do you speak mathematics? Do you live mathematically? Today is a today is a day of Saturn. Saturn is all about patience. So Saturn is like long lines and shit. You just got a lot of time just waiting around. When I think about, what's today like Saturn? I'm like, oh yeah, we stopped like over an hour So we were just fucking around. And like for over, just imagine just being at the job. You just, and when I say fuck around, I'm not fucking around. Cause I'm in a position of authority. I'm like, I'm not able to enjoy the festivities. I gotta stay in position. If anything happened, I gotta be the one to correct the problem. So they calling my ass on the radio. Anything happen, I'm getting the call. So I'm just waiting for some shit to pop off. Cause I'm like, all right, I gotta be here when the call is made, and then correct the issue. So for I'm like, yo, we just got so much time. I'm like, yo, it was so many people that left, as I was saying before. It was so many people that went home early. They was feeling the pressure of Saturn, like Saturdays. So I've noticed it in my own life, but now they're like, yo, Saturdays, people get the fuck out of here. That is the day when you may only be working with less than half of your workforce. That pressure of Saturn, if they got the opportunity to get the fuck out of there, they getting the fuck out of there. Cause that pressure, like the last thing you want, like, yo, I'm trying to be a union, so I gotta work on the day of Saturn. Oh, it's gonna be extra boring. Oh, it's gonna be extra boring. You see, it ain't normal boring. You gonna be extra bored. So what you gonna do with all that time, right? What are you gonna do with all that time when there's really nothing to do? So you have to exercise your mental force. How would you choose to exercise your mental force? So while everybody else is standing around talking, doing this, doing that, just trying to make the time pass, you working. You still working just mentally. You're not taking a rest. You using this as an opportunity to keep working, right? Yeah, Amazon has a robotics program. Yeah, Amazon has a robotics program. Um, it's like once you know, you know. So all the so-called work experience has shown me is these things are true. These conclusions that I have arrived at on my own, without the assistance of, you can say, somebody else's conclusions or opinions. Is the math mathing? That's the ultimate question. Is the math mathing? In order for the math to math, you gotta know how to break down those equations. In order for the math to math, you gotta be able to break down those equations, because it's just not gonna make sense on the surface. So, so we dedicate this to the powers, the fires of pay, the fires of pay, right? Because why not? We already in tune. Knowledge equality borns God. That's supreme mathematics. Knowledge equality borns God. 1 plus 6 equals 7. Equality is your ability to level the playing field. How do you level the playing field? Through knowledge. You have to have knowledge of how to level the playing field. Meaning all things can't be attacked with physical force. Some things are going to require mental force in order for things to become even. That's what makes, you can say, men and women even, right? Men have certain strength, certain weaknesses. Women have certain strengths, certain weaknesses, but the mental force is what balances it out. It ain't even, it's not the physical stuff that most people pay attention to. That's why all these people on YouTube debating about how men should be, how women should be, and like that's what that content is just all over the place, right? Motherfuckers, they bad as fuck, right? See, there's a lot. I don't be watching YouTube because I don't be taking it serious, like. So I don't. It's not to diss any creator. I just, because again, I be engaging in the bullshit. I'm like, okay, like let's see what bullshit is going on. And I'm like, okay, so they just completely miss certain elements here. Because completely, if the conclusion is, okay, fuck it, there's nothing we can do. We need to just give up. you know, just, I'm sorry, it's stuff be funny. This stuff be funny. I found all these things entertaining. Like I don't be taking it seriously. Like even, I'm not gonna lie. Even like if I do like watch, you can say somebody conscious or whatever. It's to laugh. It's for entertainment. I like to be entertained. I like to be entertained because sometimes I'm like damn I work too hard. I need to have a laugh. You know? I laugh at things that other people would be taken seriously. Like, I don't know if y'all remember when I was showing y'all the Senate. See, both. A lot of people don't know about the Senate. What be going on in the Senate? If you're not really into politics, you probably don't know what the Senate is. But I was showing y'all those videos of what be happening in the Senate. And like like these people are completely serious, right? These people are completely serious, and like like they ask you questions that are they're so unexpected that the person tries to answer it. You just see that they're just lost for words and they just stumbling over their words and it's still like yo, don't even worry about trying to answer it. It's very pleasing for whatever reason. I'm not even trying to figure out why it's pleasing. I find it very pleasing to like I don't really watch comedy, for example. I'm not really sitting up watching funny movies. Like I'm not looking at things to purposely laugh. I'm not gonna look at comedy. It's gonna be something that's not supposed to be funny. Law of reversal. If I want to laugh, I'm gonna laugh at something that's not supposed to be funny. I'm supposed to be looking at this documentary, for example, taking shit seriously. But then something, I can laugh because this happens all the time. It's like something, like for example, you. I'm sorry. I be thinking about these videos. Like it's this one video, like where you just see these two dudes chilling with lions. Like you just see a person just flabbergasted. Like yo, they didn't even know the lion was behind them. The lion had like creeped up behind them and like just sat down. It's like when you really observe the nature of nature. This is what I mean by you have to go back to the primordial question. How did this shit get here? Did this randomly occur? Or this was done purposely? And if it was done purposely, then which, we already know the answers to these things. What role do you play in a purposeful creation? Give me a second. Let me change the music here. Let's see. Okay. I know it's pretty hilarious. I do the same, but people don't get my humor. Not supposed to. But it's like, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be funny, so they're like, yo, why do you? But it's just some shit is just funny because your mind is just wired in a way you can find that shit where everybody else is just looking like, yo, how did you even come to that conclusion? Yeah. So yeah, the funniest things to me is things that was not supposed to be funny. It's like when a person is like trying to make me laugh, not like personally, just like a comedian for example. Like they're trying. The whole intention is for you to laugh. And it's like predicted versus something unpredictable. Like you're not supposed to laugh when people get like punched in the face. But we know that that content is watched all over the internet. On top of that, basically other people's expense. Right? We find these things hilarious. Somebody, whatever happened to them. Right? But again, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but for whatever reason, it was captured on camera. Nonetheless. So I'm saying that to say I don't be knowing when the laughter is going to come because the whole point isn't to laugh. It's like I'm trying to be serious, but then it's like, well, I snap out of it because I'm like, oh, I found something It's something. You just know what it is. It's not even explainable. It's just because it's unpredictable. That's the whole essence of like you don't know when it's gonna. That helps you to get more acquainted with magic, because you don't know when it's gonna pop up. You don't necessarily know how the result is going to get to you in what way, form, or fashion. You don't necessarily know details to that scale. But then again, you don't need to. Second. All right. So the occult was never based in belief. The reason why people, you can say, deny its validity is because they want repeatable results. And what I mean by repeatable results, they want to be able to do exactly what you did and get the same results you did. That's how most people sell a product, right? This is what I did. This is what you can do, and you can have the same results I did. People sell products like that, right? So this is how I got rich doing this. Here's my strategy. That's all over the place, right? I did it. You can too. It's possible. I say these things to say majority of the stuff I did, I didn't know it was possible until I did it. I didn't know it was possible to go for 2 weeks without eating solid food. Just liquids until I did it. It was always through experimentation, constant experimentation. The world, the universe is a grand laboratory. So if the universe is a grand laboratory, then why not be constantly conducting experiments on yourself first and foremost? And that's why a lot of people think, dark magic and all that is trying to manipulate somebody else. You're manipulating yourself. You're accessing your own unconscious mind. It's not even about doing nothing to nobody else. You accessing your depths allows them to access their depths. Not you trying to access their depths without accessing your depths. All right, here we go. So I will admit, that I feel pretty superhuman. And I guess it's because I haven't been sleeping. But my energy level is definitely on max. And basically as the energy gets darker and darker and darker and darker and darker, I see my energy just increase, 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 increase. Darker, 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 increase, increase. Right. Okay, give me a second here. Hold on. All right. There we go. Okay. Isn't it funny how no matter how tough you are or intimidating you look, or maybe if you are walking and trip, you just can't. mean, it's a whole bunch of shit that we all inappropriate shit that we all laughing. Like we're not supposed to laugh, when people are arguing. People are like in their feelings and arguing, but they may be saying some funny shit. Like yo, these people are and going through intense emotional essence, but because of what they're saying, it's making it funny. Like yo, this is not supposed to be a laughing matter, but it's like yo, they really saying it. The stuff they saying may not be again as funny as in they're cracking jokes. It's just like yo, I never expected that. I never expected to hear something like that. It puts you in a whole different mood. All right. As you see, I'm indulging in the festivities. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, too much more of your time. Just wanted to express you must become what you study. Become living mathematics. Because yes, 2024 is an 8-year, oh yeah. If your mathematics are not on point, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's an election year, oh yeah. People are gonna be all in they feelings. Oh yeah. So if you play cards right and you use finesse, you can end up in some pretty favorable situations. That 8 frequency is it's the heaviest planet for sure. I'll say that much. So that's why on Saturdays you feel that way. And the people are relieved, like, what? I can just walk out in the house where I'm getting little sleep. But for whatever reason that day I was just exhausted, so I probably went home. Well, I actually did go home half of the day. Anyway, the numbers turn into letters. The letters turn into words. The words turn into sentences. The words turn into rhymes. Then you build a world from there. But before all that, you become a madman. Excuse me. You become a mad woman. You become mad first. That's why you start with the 4, and the 4 represents the number 0. That's where you start. That's the first degree of initiation. Right? The first degree of initiation is you starting at the 4. You are allowing yourself to go, you can say, to a place of madness. You allow yourself to go that deep into it. see what you find, because there's things to be found there as we go into our lower self, right? A lot of people go into the lower self just to, you could say, just to enjoy the lower self. They're not really looking around trying to find things. But that's essentially what we do, right? We go into the lower self to unlock the Akashic records. Now we get some wisdom from it. Now we get some understanding from it. Now we can build a culture out off of it, right? So that's why we will indulge in the festivities. To crack those codes and unlock those treasures. Which essentially you could say is the opposite of what most people are using it for. So is it really, you could say some people do the same thing you do, but they're affected in a completely different way. Everybody is not affected by the same things the same. People are affected differently by similar things. It's not a universal effect. Alright. So we'll do this one more time. And we'll go ahead and check out. I just be wanting y'all to catch the energy like before I go into a different mode. Before I'm off, alright. You gotta, do this, do this, do this. I want y'all to catch the energy straight off of the pits of hell. Straight from hell. I'm talking about I came straight from hell. Right? Let's see. So that's why I do it at these times. So y'all can catch the raw essence. There you go. What's up, Baphomet Friends? Getting buff? Yeah, I gotta hit up those push-ups, That's what I'm saying. We're gonna be out here looking like a problem. That's what I'm saying. We building up. We building up, right? Nobody sees the full picture but you till you manifest it. Like, oh, you foreseen it. So we make everything sexy, right? We make everything fly, we make everything vivid. So even if it take a little time, you still got that consciousness in the back of your mind, which allows you to transcend time. To see how the conscious and the subconscious are intertwined. Right? Just utilizing the raw talent of rhyme. Who knows whether it's demonic or divine? See, just mental exercise, which will allow us to visualize, consistently energize, reestablish, and prophesize. See, just catching the spirit, showing you that it's actually possible to get into it. All right. We learn ourselves through the numbers. We become acquainted with the numbers through experimenting. Not just you doing things, but you just acknowledging what's already there. You just acknowledging the frequency that's already at play. I'm in the orbit of the sun today. I'm in the orbit of the moon. I'm in the orbit of Venus. I'm in the orbit of Neptune. That has certain qualities. It makes a difference when it's a day of Saturn versus a day of Venus. There's a difference between Friday and Saturday. What makes Friday Friday? What makes Saturday Saturday? Because days have a certain signature. As we know, Saturdays are just generally heavier. That's why, some people consider this a day where you don't work. Some people, certain religions, they don't work on a Saturday. That's just forbidden. You don't work on Saturday. Then, for other people, the holy day is Sunday, but for some people, it's Saturday. So, of course, I had to come before you on the day of Satan, the holy day, the Luciferian light. But at one point, it was darkness. Right? Numbers, sequences, equations. Numbers, sequences, equations. And just constantly making yourself mentally swift, doing mental exercises. Swift. You ain't even got to too much worry about the spirit. If I want to be completely honest, you don't even too much got to worry about the spirit. Just be mentally swift, especially moving forward. And what I mean by mental swiftness is spellcraft. It's your spellcraft, your ability to cast spells. Because that makes all of the difference. Because it's very important that you be the ultimate witness. So with that, I bear you peace, 93. I also bear you war. Because you may be in the energy of war right now. Peace may not be your reality right now. Your reality may very well be war. Some people are in heaven right now. Some people are engaged in hell right now. I salute you both nonetheless, with the right hand and the left. With the dark and the light. So, just keep your life sacred. Keep your life sacred. 1 + 6 = 7. 7, the holy number, the holy day. Keep it sacred. Whatever you do, keep it sacred. 93, sacred, right? We keep this sacred. We are one, we are none. And do without will should be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love of the will.